This episode begins with a flashback to the year 432 of the Great Calendar, taking place in the wilderness of Medan. The hero Leonis is seen walking with a man who reports a monster attack in his vicinity and requests Leonis to handle it. They arrive at the supposed monster location, but Leonis doesn't see anything. When he turns around, the man has already left. Leonis has a bad feeling about this and readies his sword. However, he suddenly finds himself immobilized. There is a sorcerer there using magic to paralyze Leonis. Several individuals approach him, throw chains to bind his hands and legs, and then pull him with a prepared pulley. Leonis becomes helpless, and at that moment, some people stab him with spears, resulting in his eventual demise. One of them mentions that Leonis was more respected by the people than the king, so it is likely that some of them were the king's henchmen. After his death, a woman appears beside Leonis. She is Rosalia. Rosalia deeply regrets the cruel incident. Despite seeking the world, she was killed by the people she trusted. Rosalia asks if Leonis harbors any resentment towards those who betrayed him. However, Leonis replies no because it doesn't necessarily make them evil. In her opinion, she would revolt in this world. She seems to invite Leonis as she believes there are things only he can see about this world. Rosalia mentions that she always watched Leonis and was intrigued by him. According to her, heroes can be boring, so she offers Leonis to become hers. Leo wakes up from his sleep, having dreamed about the events from 1,000 years ago. Upon waking up, Leo notices a bite mark scar on his neck. He goes to Celia's room and commands her to wake up. Celia's body moves on its own, waking her from her slumber. Leo then shows a symbol on his hand, signifying a command. This activates the seal inscribed on Celia's leg. Since Celia is now like his appendage, she must obey Leo's orders. Celia appears worried because it means she will have to do whatever Leo commands, including intimate things. Leo denies this, saying he won't make her do such things. Leo then stated that Celia must learn to restrain herself while holding his neck to show the bite mark. Yes, Celia had sucked his blood while Leo was asleep. Celia justified that she had lost control and couldn't help it. Leo understood, but he wanted Celia to ask for permission before drawing his blood. Celia's phone rang, and it was a call from Fina. Finne mentioned that she was concerned about something, so she reported to her commander, Celia. Finne reported that there had been a strategy discussion meeting and something related to the investigation team didn't appear in the database. In essence, Fine would report if something changed. She then hung up the phone. Celia appeared very enthusiastic, and since it was a day off, she asked Leo to train her. The scene then shifted to a control and strategy center. One of the men there stated that they had lost contact with Platoon 13 for 11 hours. It was possible that something had eliminated them all. One of them received a report, a photo resembling tree roots that couldn't be identified. Some people in the room suspected it might be a new Void variant. There was also a possibility that it was Voidload. If it was Voidload, then it could be an invasion. They discussed their readiness for a Void attack, including the number of Excalibur users and resilience. Civilian training had been ongoing, and evacuation plans were also discussed. Then there was an instruction from their superiors to re-investigate the missing Void response, so they were instructed not to hastily launch an attack. Elsewhere, Celia is seen engaged in training with a robot. Leo, who is present, praises Celia's swordsmanship skills. Celia mentions that she has been practicing swordsmanship since she was a child with her family. And now at the academy, she continues to train tirelessly. Leo then explains that one of the advantages of being a vampire queen is having a large mana pool, and he promises to teach Celia magic. By developing her physique, mana, and swordsmanship knowledge, Leo believes that Celia is well suited to become a magical swordswoman. Leo then summons tougher foes, several skeletons, which naturally leaves Celia bewildered. Celia swiftly dispatches all the skeletons that Leo summoned. After successfully defeating many skeletons, Celia becomes fatigued and the training session concludes. Leo observes that Celia has become much stronger than before. As a token of gratitude, Celia treats Leo for agreeing to train her. In the dormitory, Sakuya arrives with joy in his heart because he finally won a bet. When entering the dormitory, he spots a black dog with thick fur outside. It's Blackus. Sakuya is immediately drawn to the dog and approaches to get a closer look. Not seeing a collar on Blackus, Sakuya assumes no one owns the dog and names it Kurage Mofu Mofu. Sakuya also offers some food to the dog and attaches a collar around its neck. Inside the dormitory, Fine is seen carrying out her duties in front of a monitor. Regina is very attentive and offers her a snack she made. Sakuya also enters the room and tells them about encountering a large dog outside the dormitory. Regina and Fine had seen the dog as well, but they hadn't paid much attention to it. Sakuya's attention then turns to the snacks Regina has prepared. Regina offers some of the snacks to Sakuya, who is grateful because he hadn't eaten before. Regina inquires about what Fine is doing in front of her monitor, as it's actually a day off. Fine explains that she's gathering information and conducting analysis because there's an investigation team at sea that hasn't returned yet. Elsewhere, Celia and Leo are seen riding a motorcycle together. Leo looks around at the road and is still amazed by the rapidly advancing human civilization. While in town, Sherry apparently takes on a part-time job at a shop. She is in the kitchen helping the owner with tasks. Sherry wants to earn money to buy treats for her master. The shop owner comes into the kitchen to ask Sherry to cut some potatoes. Sherry agrees to do it but decides to use her own knife because the one in the kitchen is not sharp enough. With skill, Sherry cuts all the potatoes, but she also accidentally cuts the container the potatoes were in. The owner is surprised by this and decides to have Sherry clean the front yard of the shop instead. As Sherry walks out, she sees Leo and Celia arriving at the shop. Celia gets off her motorcycle to buy some bread and drinks. As they both leave, Sherry is curious about where they are heading. Leo and Celia eventually arrive at a restaurant. Celia is welcomed by several children who appear very happy to see her. It turns out that the restaurant is also the residence for these children. In his heart, Leo thinks that perhaps they are orphan children. Celia goes inside the restaurant and places her belongings down, but while she is chatting with a little girl there, one of the boys tries to lift her skirt. Reflexively, Celia pulls her skirt back down. Leo, who is there, is shocked to see this, and he reflexively uses shadow magic to catch the boy. But Celia kindly tells Leo that he is just a child, so it's not a big deal. Leo feels like he may have overreacted to the child's actions. From the second floor, the restaurant owner, Mrs. Frania, is seen coming down the stairs. Celia then introduces Leo, stating that she found him in the ruins and he is also an Excalibur user. The children are seen almost disbelieving and immediately approach Leo, exclaiming how cool he is. Celia gives a box of vegetables to Mrs. Frania and donuts for the children. They are, of course, very delighted. Seeing all this in his heart, Leo thinks that this is a place Celia wants to protect. And the place she wants to protect, her castle, is now gone. Underwater, some individuals conducting an investigation not find anything suspicious there. However, there are personnel underground who hear strange sounds. They also feel vibrations coming from beneath the ground, near the urban area. Fine, who is conducting the analysis at the time, suspects something unusual is happening. Two male technical officers inspect some rooms, and in one room they find it filled with dense tree roots. They are puzzled by this and attempt to enter further into the room. On the other side, Celia and Leo, along with the children, are enjoying their food, seemingly unaware of the strange events occurring. This is the end of episode 4.